Hi friends, welcome to Easy Academy. Today we are going to discuss about macroeconomics. Today I am going to take classes for registered valuers for land and building, plant and machinery, and financial securities. This video is also helpful for students of higher secondaries, BCom and MBA students, those who want to learn about macroeconomics. Please watch this video completely because in the end some MCQs are provided which will be useful for your examination and clear understanding. Macroeconomics. I just want to touch upon basics of economics before I go into the subject for the benefit of engineering and non-commerce students, because non-commerce students may not have the opportunity to study economics. So from the layman's perspective, without going into the expert's definition, economics is nothing but a study of transfer of wealth or a wealth of an economy, and to study various factors of economy, which includes a study on how the wealth is transferred, how the unemployment is reduced, how inflation is controlled. These are all part and parcel of economic. So economic is in simple word is wealth and health of a country as a whole. This economics can be divided broadly into two categories, that is macroeconomics and microeconomics. The macroeconomics is the word macro itself shows a study of a overall perspective, that is a study of a economic activity of a country or a largest perspective like an industry or employment that is termed as macroeconomics. On the other hand, some of the examples of macroeconomics is to study about unemployment, monetary policies, physical policies, consumption, consumers function, or factors of production. These are all some of the small portion of macroeconomics. What is microeconomics? I just want to touch upon, even though this is not in syllabus for security and financial management, this is not the uh, part we are not going to study now, but microeconomics is minor portion or a study of a minor portion related in economics, like how a firm or how individual functions, how individual economic activities, a industry or a particular company's economic related activities are considered as microeconomics. There are a few authorities involved in macroeconomics, that is RBI, government, banks, ministries. These are the people who help the economic activities to function further. This slide is important terms in macroeconomics. Without understanding these terms, it is difficult to further study or understand the subject. So that's why I just want to give some introduction of important terms that will come up in the macroeconomics. The first term which I would like to introduce now is final goods. The term final goods is very simple. Anything that is manufactured and kept ready for sale but not moved beyond the boundaries of the factory or the control of the factory, that is called final goods. Which means if a soap manufacturer or a car manufacturer manufactures it kept inside his manufacturing premises for sale, this is called final goods, which is completed. All manufacturing process including labeling and packing, everything is completed, ready for sale, that is called final goods. The final goods can be further classified into two, that is consumer goods, another one is producer goods. The term consumer goods, in very simple term, anything that is manufactured for the purpose of final uses or which is sold to the direct consumer or for the usage of the direct consumer is called consumer goods. If a car is manufactured assembling various products and comes out from the manufacturing unit or manufacturing place, that car is considered as consumer goods. Or a shampoo is manufactured in a particular factory. Once it comes out, it goes to the consumer. It is not going to any other further factory. It is not going to any other further manufacturing unit. After it is manufactured, it goes to a distributor, from distributor to the wholesaler, from there it goes to the consumer. This kind of goods are called consumer goods. There is another term called producer goods. Unlike a consumer goods, producer goods goes to another factory. For example, if a steering manufacturer manufactures a lot of steerings for different cars in a particular place, the goods after final production will not go to the market. Instead, it will go to a car manufacturing unit. There, the steerings are installed in the car as a process in the process of manufacturing and then finally comes out as a car. So steering is a part of the car. So those who manufacture any goods or any products that are used by another manufacturer is called producer goods. In simple way you can understand. So another important things in or a term that you should understand is capital goods. Capital goods are very simply you can understand goods that manufactures a goods. For example, a machine. If you import a machine from China, that machine manufactures soap. That machine is called capital goods because with that machine only you are manufacturing soap. If you are importing say a machine for cutting papers, that machine is called capital goods because with that machine only the end products or the manufacturing is happening. These kind of goods are called capital goods. Capital goods, again, in terms it is used for production of other goods. Next, the important term is factor of production. There are four important factors of a production. Production means nothing but manufacturing. To manufacture a car, what you need? First, you need a manufacturing unit that is called land, or in simple way we can understand as natural resources. So natural resources is the first factor of production. So what you have a land, so what you need? You need people to work. People will come and work in the factory, then only final product will come out. That is called human resource. With land and labor, you cannot complete the production. You need someone who guide the laborers, who can organize everything. That is called entrepreneurs or enterprises. You need a company, you need someone to invest, you need someone to control the entire operation, who does the uh, overall management of the company. This is called, and who takes the risk also. So this is called enterprise or entrepreneurs. They are the third in the factor of production. And the final and the important one, capital or finance. To run a factory, you need money. The money is simple term used as capital. So this four production or factor of production is very important for any production unit or any manufacturing unit to continue. The study of macroeconomics involve one of the important parameters is macro factor of production. These four factor of production. And in next slide, we need to understand GDP. In simple terms, GDP is gross domestic product. So I will bifurcate the GDP definition into three. That is, first one is gross, second one is domestic, third one is product. Accounting people may know gross means aggregate, that is without any deduction. What is your gross income when you ask, which means what is your total income without any deduction or without any minus. This is called gross. So here the GDP also, the term gross means total. Then the term domestic is there. Here the term domestic denotes a particular country. For individuals, domestic means it is their home. For in economy or the economy as a whole, the term domestic means a particular country. If you want to study about India, the domestic means India. You are going to study about India. And the product is nothing but total output of goods and services is called product. So GDP in simple term is gross domestic product, which is total products that are produced in India both by resident and non-resident. That is, in India, there are so many Indians who are engaged in the manufacturing or sales and services activities. Similarly, foreign companies also come here and do a lot of business. So both foreign company and Indian companies total production and sales and service is called GDP. In simple terms, it is a total of factor income accrued to the national resident of a country. So next is the domestic. As I said, this is related to geographical territory. GDP should be calculated from all the goods and services produced in a particular country. Then the market price. Generally, in India, GDP is calculated at market price. This is most easiest form of calculation than any other, because if a car is manufactured for 5 lakh rupees, in a year, say 100 cars are manufactured, means 5 lakh into 100 will be added into GDP. Simple. If the car price is 5 lakh, so GDP is increased by that amount. The next slide will go. This is the method of measuring the national income. Before I go into what is related to national income, I would like to define. National income is total income of a country. Like individuals and companies, how we calculate our income every year, and some people will file income tax returns. Similarly, a country also calculates what is its total income, what is its total expenditure. So the calculation of total income of a country is called, that total is called national income. There are various methods in calculating the national income. Broadly, it is categorized into three, that is income method, value added method, expenditure method. We will go into income method. Income method is very simple, like any company or individual, how we calculate the total income that are derived in an economy activity, that is total wages, total rent, total interest, and total profit. These four calculated together will be considered as total income method. Say for example, India, total wages income of a country then total rental income that are booked by various land owners, total interest, and then total profit accounted by each and every domestic companies, domestic individuals, into residents. This will be calculated together for forming the income of the country. The next method is a little bit tricky in understanding. That is, this is called value added method. Unlike the income method where you add all the income and put together and you arrive of total income, but value added method you add the increase in the production or the value that are added in each and every stage is considered as value income, and that is added in the total income. Say for example, a company manufactures tire, and that before that company completes that production, it requires a raw material. So for a tire, the raw material is leather, which means one guy manufactures a leather and give it to tire manufacturer. He manufactures a tire, and this guy giving back to the car manufacturer, and he installs that tire into the car. Now, how a leather initially produced by a farmer. So from farmer to the car, how the value of the leather increases. Here 1 kilo of leather, say for example, is 100 rupees. This farmer gives to a dealer. Dealer adds 10 rupees in it, 10 or you can say 10%. Again from there it goes to the tire manufacturer. He adds his 4 factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. So he manufactures the leather into a tire. Now that rubber becomes the final goods of tire. Now this tire becomes 1000 rupees after all production. Okay, 10 rupees of rubber becomes 1000 rupees of a tire. Now this 1000 rupees goes to the part of car, which is 5 lakh rupees. Now how you will find the real value of the leather? You add each and every stage how the leather that rubber becomes a final product. This calculation is called value added method. Then next method is final expenditure method. It's very simple. Total expenditures of a country will be added, and that will be treated as national income. You may wonder why expenditure is treated as income. Because the reason is country is not run for profit. The governments are not running the country for the profit purpose, unlike companies. So their main intention of the government is to do expenditures. The good government will ensure that their income is fully spent, except they keep some reserve for unexpected circumstances, and they will spend for the people. So expenditure method is a reverse of income method. They will calculate all the consumption expenses made by the consumption consumers, investment made, government expenses, and net profit, net exports, that is import minus export. This will be added together, and this is called expenditure method. In these three terms or measurement, you value a national income. So this is a slide I just earlier explained, the same thing. how it is calculated in a calculation form. Income method is by adding all these four methods calculation. Value added means gross value added goods plus taxes minus subsidiaries. Then you will get the value added at each stage of production. We will go to type of GDP. As I said, GDP is gross domestic product, but there are various types of GDPs here. First one I am going to introduce now is real GDP. Real GDP is current year's production of goods and services based on the base year price. Here the base year means previous year, okay, or it can be a particular year which is earmarked by the government. The difference between GDP and real GDP is nothing but how the product is priced. Both are GDP, gross domestic products only. But in earlier slide we saw that the production is calculated at market price. Okay, but here the production is calculated based on the base year price. That is called real GDP. Why this base year is calculated? Because it is easy to calculate. You keep a base year and the price as constant and calculate total domestic goods and services activity. You just multiply that total production into the base year's constant price. You will get real GDP. Next term is nominal GDP. Nominal GDP is similar to real GDP, but instead of using the base year, they will use current year price. What is the price at the current year? They will take, for example, if car is 5 lakh today, they will add 5 lakh into the GDP. They will not use the base year price. You may wonder, nominal GDP is better, but the pricing of goods varies, depends on various factors. So it is always better that real GDP number are good and highly recommended, because the current year pricing model or the nominal GDP model are high due to inflation trend. Next one I am going to discuss about gross national product. It's also called GNP. We discussed earlier GDP, which is gross domestic product. Now we are going to see about gross national product. The only difference between GDP and GNP is the term national. If you remember in my previous slides, I told you domestic means country. Here instead of domestic, the word national is used, which means any amount of income or goods and services produced by Indian national, whether in India or outside India, will be calculated into this GNP. The national also called citizens of a country, which means all income of residential citizenship, whoever is a citizen of India and whether is doing business in India or outside India, whether is income in India or outside India, everything will be calculated. That is called GNP. In simple example, I can say Shah Rukh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan is a resident of India. he may have so many business outside India. For example, he can own a hotel in Dubai. He can run a film industry in Hollywood. And in calculating the gross national product, Shah Rukh Khan's income not only in India, his overall income across the globe, all his income outside India will be calculated. This is a simple example. I'm just giving you how to calculate GNP. For exam perspective, the equations are very important. The registered value exam, you may be asked one mark questions about these things. Please do remember this and try to understand. If not, try to bycott it. At least you will get one mark from this equation. That is net national product equal to gross domestic product, gross national product minus depreciation. For engineering graduates, depreciation I'll just simply explain very quickly. Depreciation is nothing but a residual value of an asset. If you buy a asset today for 1 lakh rupees, it may be a laptop or any computer. If you buy it for 1 lakh, after 5 years, you are selling it at say 20,000. Why the value of the asset comes down, even though the asset is similar and it functions properly? Because of the value is reduced because of its depreciation. You use it every day, so the value goes down. That is called depreciation. So you understand these important terms. It's very important, useful for your examination. So I will come to monetary policy and fiscal policy. You may hear in news channels or even newspapers about RBI announces monetary policy, RBI increases the interest rate, RBI reduces the interest rate, so many things uh, in news articles. The monetary policy actually deals with supply of money. That's why RBI comes into picture. The fiscal policy deals with taxation. So it's within the control of Government of India as well as Ministry of Finance. This is a major difference between fiscal policy and monetary policy. Monetary policy mostly deals with money, supply of money, interest, banking related policies. Fiscal policy deals with mostly taxation, income for the government, and government's expenditure. So these are things deals with fiscal policy. Fiscal policy mostly is related to these purpose. Mostly, if you see a fiscal policy of a government of India, they will mobilize the resources to rural, to urban, and for different ministry activities. They allocate the resources. But in monetary policy, it manages the liquidity and it manages the money control in a country and also try to maintain a proper inflation level. So wherever you study about monetary policy, you can come out with the mindset that it is for the or done by RBI and fiscal policy is done by Government of India. So with that, we just come to a conclusion of the macroeconomics introduction. These are just an introduction. In my further video, I will further go into the factor of production, national income calculation, and then I will also teach how unemployment rates are being calculated and various factors. For as well as the RV exam is concerned, this is very much enough for you to take the 3 marks. So test your knowledge here. My first question is, which one is correct? Whether national net product equal to GNP minus depreciation or GDP minus GNP, or NNP equal to depreciation minus GNP or depreciation minus GDP. So the correct answer actually, net national product is GNP minus depreciation. Please understand, anything comes with a net actually reduced by depreciation. You can just click this, no further argument. From gross, if it is become less net, then depreciation is being reduced from that. Then which one is correct? Please read this question carefully. And the answer is 1. That is, net income at factor cost equal to net national product at market price minus indirect taxes plus subsidy. National income in India is compiled by, this was one of the RV question uh, which was informed by my friend because he attended that exam and he got this question. That is, in India, national income is compiled by Central Statistical Organization. So this organization actually calculate the national income of India. GDP equation, which is correct. GDP is equal to consumption plus investment plus government purchase plus net exports. So the first one is the correct one. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is about introduction of macroeconomics. More videos will come. Please subscribe the channel so that you will get the updates. And this is exclusively for registered valuers. So if you want to become a registered valuer, it will be very much useful for you. If you like the video, please share with others so that they will also be benefited. Thank you so much once again.